But let's get straight into the current events.
The big stuff we got to talk about,
Big stuff, man. The second round of the NBA playoffs. Right now, as this video is being recorded, the Knicks are playing the Sixers. Knicks are up by what? How much are we up by right now?
Let's just say they're pummeling them.
Yeah. Knicks
the
are having
third
themselves
quarter.
a game. Similar to that last game that we had against Atlanta, which we won't talk about here because it's a sensitive topic, but salute to the Hawks.
Yeah.
Y'all played a good game.
Darvingham, salute. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into the second round predictions. All right, let's start off with this Knicks Sixers. What are your predictions for the series?
Listen, I have the Knicks winning this series in 5 games. I honestly think it's going to be a cakewalk for the Knicks. I think they're going to the finals for sure. I really do. The way this Knicks defense has looked and how good their star players, OG, Cat, Brunson, they're all performing at the highest level. This is the best I've ever seen OG play, by the way.
100%.
Oh, for sure.
He has always thrived in the playoffs when he's been given the opportunity. But, oh, man, this guy is looking like a number 2 right now.
I actually 100% agree with that.
Really?
He's looking like a 2.
Over who?
I'm not saying that he is a 2. I'm saying he looks like a 2.
Wait, time out. No. I think OG currently, for what he's done so far in the playoffs, has been the number 2 option for the Knicks.
Better than Carl Anthony Towns.
Yes.
Who's also...
OG...
He played phenomenal too now.
Think about both sides of the ball. OG is your best defender.
Talk about both sides of the ball. I mean, I agree.
He's your best defender.
Yes.
And what he is doing on all cylinders offensively, driving, mid-range, three-pointer, getting to the free throw line, he's doing it all at a high level, man. Very high level. I think OG is their number 2 option right now.
You think? Yeah, I mean, I understand I understand. I would still go 3, but he's playing as if he could be a number 2 option. And that's really where the point I was agreeing with on your part. Like, if we, let's say in some dream world that he was a free agent this offseason, he went somewhere else, he would be a 2 option. That's how good he's playing right now.
Definitely.
And that's awesome for the New York Knicks. Yeah, I'm going to go Knicks in 6. I think the Knicks always win in 6 games, man. I don't know why. We beat Philly last time in 6 games. We beat the Pistons in 6 games. We beat the Hawks in 6 games. I like 6 games for this series. I think the Sixers are a really good team. Embiid, we all know how good Embiid is. Paul George, if he gets going, he can be a good player. VJ Edgecomb's up and coming. Tyrese Maxey is, an absolute bucket getter. But I think the Knicks are the slightly more talented team, and I think they'll be able to get this done in 6.
Yeah, I mean, obviously...
Just move your hand away from the thing. It's making a sound when you talk.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, obviously the Knicks have been playing phenomenal. Obviously, I agree with all of your statements. OG's been playing phenomenally. Carl Anthony Towns played, absolutely destroyed the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Knicks in 7 because Joel Embiid is back. He is just the big difference maker for the 76ers. And when the 76ers are hot and can shoot, they're still going to be a dangerous team. He's arguably the best player in this series when it's said and done. And you can't count that out. We obviously saw that with Boston and how the complete upset.
How he changed the series.
How he changed the series, coming in halfway through the series and coming back 3-1 against a team that we solidified as going to the next round.
Yeah.
And completely dismantling them. This team, obviously with players like VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey playing like a 1. Also players like Paul George, who unexpectedly has been shooting out of his mind, shooting 55% from the 3-point line these playoffs. This is unheard of.
From Paul George.
From Paul George. Even players like Kelly Oubre has been stepping up offensively and defensively. This is a team that is obviously hungry and desperate for wins.
That's true.
I still say that they claw up to 7, but I'm giving it to the Knicks just based off experience and what this team is trying to accomplish this season.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that.
Is there any player in the NBA right now who has more pressure on them in the playoffs than Joel Embiid?
There's definitely pressure on Joel Embiid, no doubt about it. Obviously, you've been an all-time great for so long. Obviously, you've missed a lot of it to unfortunate stuff like injuries. But
Yeah,
but the expectation was never for him
to make it out the first round.
to make it out the first round. You know, this is what it seems like an anomaly from what I see. But
You think their win against the Boston Celtics was an anomaly?
I wouldn't go as far as to say anomaly because they did outperform the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
For sure. They beat them fair and square. But, you know, like I said, the Joel Embiid factor and him changing the entire series does seem like a lot. So, I don't know. It's very much a toss-up.
I mean, the Celtics made some poor decisions down the stretch of Game 7, and the Celtics' three-point shooting really has become an issue. I mean, yeah. But let's go to the next series. Another interesting series in the Eastern Conference, Pistons-Cavs.
Another very interesting series.
Okay, I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go... I'm debating between 6 and 7 games. I'm going to lean on 6. I'm going to go Cavs in 6 games.
Okay.
I think the talent is going to really show up for the Cavs. Last game, it was Jared Allen who had one of the best games of his career, as far as I'm concerned. The way he came out in that third quarter for the Cavs to save their season. I think he's going to outperform Duren. I think Cade might outperform both Mitchell and Harden, but I think what Mitchell and Harden bring collectively is more than what Cade will be able to produce. Pistons are a defensive-minded team, exactly like the Toronto Raptors. Cavs were just able to nudge them out. I think that the Toronto Raptors are a little more versatile than the Pistons, right? I know the record says otherwise, but I just like the players that the Toronto Raptors had more than the depth of the Pistons. So that's why I'm going to go Cavs in 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit in 7. I think this is a series. It's two evenly matched teams, in my opinion. Considering how the Cavs at times look horrible, I would say the Pistons are a lot more consistent from what we've seen this season. But I think Detroit wins the series in 6 or 7 games, I'll say. But I don't think there's anyone on the Cavaliers who can remotely guard Cade Cunningham. With the Magic, you had a ton of guys you could throw on Cade, and that's why he had so many turnovers in that series. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone on the Cavs roster who can guard Cade Cunningham. And yeah,
I agree.
That will sort of demoralize Harden a little bit.
I think Mobley can, but I don't think it makes sense to put Mobley on
you're not
Cade.
You're not putting Mobley on Cade.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley guards 3 through 5. He can't guard 1 and 2s.
Yeah,
No chance. But yeah, it's tough to play in Detroit, and we've seen this Cavs team fold when the lights are bright. And this Detroit team, they got great. It's a great defensive team. Jalen Duren's defense last series against the Magic was great. Tobias Harris had a great series. Beef Stew does his thing as the enforcer of that team. Dennis Jenkins, I see him having a big series as well.
Insane.
And Asar Thompson, a budding star, young star, one of the best defenders in the league, as we've talked about. And I think his team could be a matchup nightmare for the Cavs. So I have the Pistons winning the series.
Fair. Both of you guys make great points, but for me, I'm gonna go Cavs in 7. This is obviously, to me, like, in terms of superstars and deep roster on paper, we see that the Cavs are the deeper team. We know what they can do on offense. They're one of the best run offenses in the league. And obviously, you got to give credit to Detroit. Their defense and, Cade's X-factorness is a big deal. But I do like the size of the Cavs. Obviously having Jared Allen, who had a phenomenal Game 7, and also having Evan Mobley, who's having a fantastic playoffs. The only 2 players that need to get right, honestly, are Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. But if we see a James Harden that we know is capable of doing this, and we see a Donovan Mitchell that we know is one of the best scorers in the playoffs in NBA history, it's a lot closer than we think. So I
Yeah.
think we edge this out, and Donovan Mitchell shows us why he's one of the top dogs. So give me Cavs in 7.
And it's disappointing because Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, their past 3 games, have been shy of what we think of them. You know, James Harden didn't have a terrible game 7, but only had 9 shots from the field. Like another game 7 where James Harden, it's not that he played bad, but isn't aggressive. Last time it was 7 shots from the field. So very interesting.
I'm also looking at that matchup too with Asar on Donovan Mitchell. That's a matchup I'm looking at in that series.
Definitely. That's a scary matchup.
Yeah. All right, let's go West Coast now. Thunder, we haven't got a chance to talk about them a lot this postseason. Not much to talk about.
Not much to talk about.
Absolutely domination so far. They're playing the Lakers. What are your predictions on that?
This should be a sweep. On paper, throughout what we've seen, champions, the Lakers, they had a good run. This is not the Houston Rockets. This is the former champs at their absolute best. And what we see from OKC at their absolute best is the best team in the NBA. Obviously, the Rockets defense and the OKC Thunder defense are complete stratospheres from each other. The Lakers are not going to have that same kind of success that they did on the Rockets defense as they did with OKC's defense. They're all over the floor. They're hungry. They're tenacious. And I see those Lakers role players really falling under the pressure of the OKC Thunder defense. So give me OKC in 4.
Listen, as I completely agree with you. I think the Thunder easily win this series because the Thunder are right now are one of the greatest basketball teams ever assembled. Ever. The Lakers are not. They have holes. Many of them.
Yeah.
The point differential in that Thunder Sun series, man, was scary. And
It was bad.
I just don't see. I see the Suns and Lakers on similar levels as far as teams, as far as what the Lakers have currently, right? So I just don't see anything different. I really don't. I think that the Thunder win this series in 5 games. I'm giving LeBron James 1 game. I'm giving him the 1 game.
And that's the only comment I have to make about this is I'm giving LeBron 1.
Because it will just add to the enormous list of accolades where if LeBron gets 1 game against this Thunder team and eventually that ends up winning a championship because they are the favorite currently, that's an accolade. I don't care what anyone says.
It's impressive.
That is impressive. No doubt.
Yeah. And I was only going to critique what both of you had to say if he didn't go on to say, I'm giving LeBron 1 game. Come on, bro.
Come on.
You're giving LeBron 1.
This is a different team.
You're not betting against the king.
I have to make this king.
I will be rooting for the Lakers extremely hard in this series.
I think we're all rooting for the Lakers.
I think the world is rooting for the Lakers.
the world is rooting for LeBron,
The king.
the king.
All right. That's enough glazing. Last second round series prediction, Spurs T-Wolves.
Now, I actually really like this matchup.
for
Why?
so many
For
reasons.
so many
Why?
reasons.
I want to know.
In terms of defense, both these teams are the best of the best.
That's the best.
The best it gets in the league. You have obviously the stout defense of the Timberwolves, who completely locked up the best offense in the league this year.
And what like the best offensive efficiency of any?
Exactly. And the way that they're able to shut down teams and the way they do it, it's going to be a really tough time for the San Antonio Spurs. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
you look and you see a big 7'6" man on the other side of the court. And as a player bringing up the ball, you know, you're not looking at that and thinking that's all shining in rainbows.
Yeah.
You defeated, you know, the great Nikola Jokic. You have to give Timberwolves credit.
Salute.
But now you have to face the second best player in the NBA, who brings you completely different problems in Victor Wembanyama. So it's gonna be a really fun series. I have this going 7 games, but I'm gonna have to give it to the Spurs. As much as
7 games.
7 games. I mean, we also saw this in the regular season that the Timberwolves record between the Spurs is 2-1.
2-1. Really?
Timberwolves. So interesting note to talk about, but I will give it to the Spurs.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking at that Wemby Gobert matchup. Obviously, it's going to be extremely tough for the Timberwolves to have to deal with the dungeon. They're calling it the dungeon now, where you're dealing with Castle on the perimeter, and then if you get by him, you have to deal with Area 51, as we've been calling him. But I think that because Anthony Edwards is playing game 1 tonight, which is some kind of miracle. 9 total days of rest after a hyperextended knee, an injury that looked extremely scary. I really, really hope this doesn't end up affecting long-term issues, because we've seen in last year's playoffs players trying to play with these injuries and it not working out. I'm a little bit worried for him, but I don't see Anthony Edwards coming back 100% from this. I really don't, and I think that could potentially disrupt the flow of the Timberwolves offense if he's not 100%. So I'm going to take the Spurs in this series in 5 games. I think the Spurs are a legit team. They will be in the Western Conference Finals versus the Thunder, and will put up a fight against them too, in my opinion. I think the Spurs team's legit, and I think Wemby's going to be playing some of the best basketball of his career in this series.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. This is tough, honestly. Both these teams are good. Both these teams are able of pulling off wins. I'm gonna go Spurs in 6. I think that the Spurs, they just have so much good about their team, and we're talking about a T-Wolves team that's coming off an Anthony Edwards injury, so he's not going to be at 100%. They don't have their starter in Dante. You're going to be relying on a lot of guys that haven't stepped up. Not that they say, I don't want to say they haven't stepped up all season, but a lot of guys that were not the same players the whole season that they have become in the playoffs, which is not a bad thing whatsoever, but it's a risky thing to bet on in terms of sports. I don't know if we're going to see Ayo Dosunmu play as well as he did in the first round. Don't know if Jaden McDaniels is going to play as well as he did in the first round. This is a much, much better defensive team than the Denver Nuggets were. So I think that's going to play a factor. I think the T-Wolves will get a few because they're kind of a streaky team. If they're hitting their mid-range shots, what's the Spurs' biggest weakness on defense? Mid-range shots, right? Because their guards pressure and they have Wemby in the back. They're hitting the mid-range shots, yeah, they might steal a game or two. And that's what I'm giving to the T-Wolves.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who's the second most impactful defender in this series?
Rudy Gobert.
Who's the third?
I think, honestly,
You think it's Jaden McDaniels?
I don't think so.
I think it's Castle.
I don't think so either. I think it's Randall.
What?
What?
Randall on Wemby, man. It's going to be a huge matchup. You don't think so?
Out of all the defenders in the
Impactful?
series,
Yes,
Castle's
that's
going to
gonna
guard Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, but Julius Randle's got to guard Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, that's not happening. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean it's not happening, bro? Victor Wembanyama has struggled against smaller big guys. If Julius
They
Randle
do not want that matchup. They don't want that matchup. They're going to avoid that at all costs.
Who?
Randall on Wemby.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so at all.
But I think just the dominance of what Rudy Gobert is really makes him that X factor, honestly. At least for me. We know what Rudy Gobert
I
gives
said
you.
Rudy Gobert's 2. Talking about 3.
Oh, 3? Oh, man.
That's why I'm going Randall. I just feel like that's going to be so important in this series is how Randall plays on Wembanyama. If you have Rudy on Wembanyama every minute of the game. I just don't think that's a sustainable strategy. So you're going to have to put Randall on him at times, and I
you
think
rather
that's going to
have-
be important.
Would you rather have Randall on Wemby or Jaden McDaniels on Wemby?
Randall, a lot more weight. You need the weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Who
want
would you-
Jaden.
who would
But who's a better defender?
Who?
Jaden McDaniels.
Okay. Just
But
making
that,
sure.
but that, yeah, but that, I'm
No,
not,
I agree
I'm
with
not
that.
talking about who's the better defender. I'm saying who's going to be more impactful in this series.
Yeah, I understand.
Because who's Jaden McDaniels going to be guarding? He's going to be guarding one of the 3 guards.
No, I feel like he's going to be on Fox a good amount.
I think so too.
That's true.
And Dylan Harper. He's going to put clamps on Harper.
All right,
That's
so
gonna be fun, though.
all right, so can I just throw out a strategy out there? Rudy is not on Wemby. Rudy starts on Stephon Castle.
On that switch.
So you make Stephon Castle shoot threes. You put Randall on Wemby. You put McDaniels probably on Fox. I mean, whoever they have left. But that the real what I'm trying to get at is you put Rudy on Stephon Castle and you put
I don't think you open up with that, but I think that's definitely a good strategy. I like that. Because in
make
playoffs,
him hit some shots.
the thing you want most in a playoff series is one of the other team's young players taking threes who isn't the best at it. That's exactly what you want. Because a rookie like a second year player like Stephon Castle, his 3-point percentage is going to go down in the playoffs.
Have Rudy be in help position just the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you really want him. That's where he's probably most effective.
Right, but here's the thing though. Stephon Castle did good on with that in the Portland series. But this is leading to the next question, really. What are the keys to winning the series for the T-Wolves or the Spurs? Who are the X factors in this series?
In the T-Wolves Spurs, I think for the Spurs, I think it has to be De'Aaron Fox. I think De'Aaron Fox offensively needs to be that guy. We know when De'Aaron Fox is we know how he is offensively. He's super gifted, can shoot, can drive it to the lane, but he's their number 1 scorer on this team. What it looks like throughout this entire playoffs. He's getting buckets at will. He's your offensive engine, and with this dangerous Timberwolves team and how they can clamp up players, he needs to be the shining star in this series and put up numbers that we know he can. So yeah, give me De'Aaron Fox for the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, for me, I'll say the X factor in this Spurs Timberwolves series for me is just the bench of the Timberwolves, because we know what we're going to get, and we've seen it for the past few seasons with what this core for the Timberwolves does for you in the playoffs, right? We've seen it. We know what they're going to do. But this bench is way different than from last year. You have guys like Terrence Shannon, obviously Naz Reid, but you have Bones and Kyle Anderson and a lot of different pieces where they're going to have to still step up like they did against the Nuggets. Can they do it against the Spurs defense? I'm not sure, but if they continue to knock down open shots and bring that intensity, I think that would be huge for the Timberwolves in this series.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go same guy I kind of picked on the defensive side, but I'm going to go Julius Randle for not just the defensive points that I made earlier, but also offensively, I think Ant-Man, he's playing, right? Is he playing? Yeah, Ant-Man's playing, but
He's been playing great, actually.
I just wouldn't rely on him too much with the injury that he's had. And I think that Julius Randle's going to have to step up and score for the T-Wolves if they want to have a chance in this series. That's why I see him as the S factor, as well as the defensive stuff. But what about for the Spurs?
I already said my Spurs one.
Oh, Grip, who's the X factor for the Spurs for you?
X factor for the Spurs? It's Castle, man. He is literally running your system, and I think he's going to have a handful with McDaniels is going to be on him a lot. I think Stephon Castle, we're going to see a lot from him in the series. And it could be some bad, but I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree with Castle as well because especially if they look to make him make 3-point shots, that could be huge, especially coming down the stretch of games. I mean, all sorts of situations. He has the ball so much for them. So I think for the Spurs, I would go. I mean, we know what we're getting out of Wemby. So Castle is going to be he's going to have to distribute well, and he's going to have to hit shots.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's going to be the X factor for the Spurs.
All right. I'll go into the Timberwolves real quick.
Okay.
The X factor for me for the Timberwolves would have to be Bones Highland. Interesting enough.
Ooh, bench player.
Bones Highland has been having a phenomenal playoffs,
Yeah.
and has been also another offensive engine for this Timberwolves team that has been lacking a lot, especially these past couple games. Obviously, you lose one of your best players in Dante DiVincenzo, who is an absolute sniper from three. And you need a player to make up the difference for the loss that you made. And the player that has to step up the most is Bones Highland. We know that he's an offensive juggernaut. Especially this playoffs, he's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And he needs to continue that and fill in the role of what Dante DiVincenzo left for you. And now it's this time. He's been playing well. I'm ready for it.
Crafty guard that can go get a bucket, that has been playing well he's going to have Timberwolves going to have to rely on him to be an offensive engine coming off the bench for them.
Definitely.
Gonna wrap it up now. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for all the new content that's coming.
Oh, you like the double? That's your stuff.
Getting there. But until next time, let's run the tape.
Say